Welcome back to part 3 of the tutorial. At this point you should have both sleeves finished, and now I'm going to show you guys how to do the neckline trim as well as the hood. So to begin, we're going to be doing single crochet stitches down the little V section of the neckline, and then I will show you guys how to do the hood after that. So to start off, just make a slip knot, insert your hook, and then with your shirt laying in front of you, it should be right side out so your seams are on the inside. You're going to take your yarn and join it with a slip stitch right at the corner of the top of the neckline. So this is at the row where you either left those 7 stitches unworked or you slip stitched across those 7 stitches. So you're going to join it right there and then use a slip stitch. And then we're going to be working down the inner V section of our top. So for this spot, again, you're working into the sides of the rows, so there's not an actual stitch here that you'll be working your single crochets. So you'll just put it wherever you think it looks good, wherever you're most comfortable. This little section right here that we're doing does not have a stitch count. So you can chain 1, work 1 single crochet into that same space, and then work single crochet stitches evenly down the side. So again, it doesn't have a specific stitch count. You can just do whatever you think looks best. Try and space them out evenly. Try not to put, obviously don't put 2 stitches in the same spot. And then when you get to the bottom section, you'll also want to make sure to put single crochet stitches in those bottom 2 stitches that are empty, separating the front left and front right shoulder. And then you'll want to count those stitches that you did going down the first side and try and use that same amount of stitches going up the second side. So just work your single crochet stitches evenly down. And then again, when you get to those bottom 2 stitches, you'll work 1 single crochet into each of them, and then you can just continue up the opposite side of the V neckline until you reach the same row on the other side of the front panel where we have those 7 empty stitches. Okay, so I've worked down the first side, across the bottom, and back up the top, just working my single crochet stitches evenly. And now we're on the opposite side from where we slip stitched to join. And this is where we begin the hoodie section of the trim. And we're gonna be working around the rest of the neck opening, stopping where we made our first single crochet, and that completes the row. So to begin, we're going to work 1 half double crochet stitch into the very corner stitch right here. So it's the first stitch on the corner where we had slip stitched 7 stitches over while we were making the front panel. So we're working 1 half double crochet into that first one, 1 half double crochet into the second, 1 half double crochet into the third, and we're going to do 1 stitch in every 7 stitches. And once you have those 7 half double crochet stitches made, we're going to start working our way up the side of the opening of the front panel. So now we're working into the edges of the rows again, and these are the rows that were all of the decrease rows on the front panel. And this time you do have stitch counts, so I should have said in the beginning, after you finish those single crochets, that's the part that does not have a stitch count, and it doesn't really matter how many you make, but as soon as we work that first half double crochet on the corner of the neckline, that's when our stitch count begins. So you'll work 7 half double crochet stitches in those first, And then while we're going up the side here on the first section of the front panel, you need to work 17 half double crochet stitches. So you can just space out those 17 stitches evenly up the first side. And then we're also going to be working across the back. So in that first section, work 17, and then when working across the back, you should have 32 half double crochet. And then coming down on the opposite side of the front panel, work 17 more, and then work 7 half double crochet in those remaining stitches where we started off. So again, you should have 7, 17, 32, 17, and then down at the bottom is your remaining 7 half double crochet. And that finishes our row. And once you get to the end of this row, you're just going to slip stitch into that first single crochet that we made at the neckline. And we're just going to slip stitch to join, and then from here on out, we'll be turning our work after every row. So this is the only spot right here where we're slip stitching just to complete that section. And now we're going to chain 1 and turn. And from here on out, we'll only be working the hood area. You will no longer be going down into that neckline V-neck area where we did the single crochets. There's no more stitches being made there. We're only working along the hood section. So to start us off, this is row 2 of the hood, and you'll be working 1 half double crochet into each stitch across, and you should have a total of 80 half double crochet. And again, that makes up the 80 by being the 7 half double crochet, the 17 up the first side, the 32 along the back, the 17 down the second side, and then the 7 across the last few stitches there for a total of 80 half double crochet. So just work 1 stitch in every single stitch all the way around until you get to that corner point at the top of the V. And then we're going to be working our way back after that. Okay, so now we're at the end of row 2, and we're going to be doing the same exact thing, chaining 1 and turning our work. So go ahead and chain 1, turn, and then we'll be starting row 3. And at this point, we're going to be making some increases at the back of our hood, and the increases are going to be on the back section of the top. So to start off, you need to work 38 half double crochet. So work 1 half double crochet into the first 38 stitches, and then we'll be working some increases, and I'll show you guys how to do that. So first, work your 38 half double crochet. Okay, so now you should have made 38 half double crochet, and you can see we're here at the back of the top, and now we're going to be working an increase. So work 1 half double crochet into the next stitch, and then work a second half double crochet into that same stitch. So we have 2 in the same, and then work 1 half double crochet into the next stitch, 1 half double crochet into the following stitch after that, and then in that following stitch, work 2 half double crochet into the same one. So we've done 38 half double crochet, and then we increased 2 in the same stitch, then we worked 2 half double crochet in separate stitches, and then we worked 2 more half double crochet into the same stitch. So we have 2 increases on the back. Now just work 1 half double crochet into the rest of the stitches to the end, and then chain 1 and turn. So after that row, you should have a total of 82 half double crochet. So we're just increasing by 2 stitches after that row. And for this row, we're just going to be repeating row 2, which is just working 1 half double crochet into each stitch across. So work 1 stitch in every stitch. Okay, and then after you do that, we'll be chaining 1 and turning. And now this is another increase row. So first thing you'll want to do is work 39 half double crochet, and then work an increase, and then 2 half double crochet and then another increase and then 39 half double crochet. So we're just increasing twice into the same area at the back of the hood, adding 2 more stitches to our stitch count. So after row 5, you should have a total of 84 half double crochet. So chain 1, work your 39 half double crochet. And after you have your 39 half double crochet, work your increase. So again, that's 2 half double crochet into the same stitch. You can see my increase from the row 2 rows previously. You can see it down there, and we're just making another increase right above it. So work 2 into the same stitch and then work 2 half double crochet into the next 2 stitches and then work another increase in the 4th stitch. And I'm going to show you guys how to use your stitch markers here so that it doesn't get confusing. So work your first half double crochet as part of the increase and then take your stitch marker, place it on the loop that's on your hook, and then work the second half double crochet of that increase into the same spot. So there's our stitch marker, and it's marking that second half double crochet of the 2 half double crochet that are in the same spot. And then you're going to work your 2 half double crochet in the following 2 stitches, and then we'll be placing another stitch marker. So this time you'll want to take your stitch marker and place it on the loop on your hook for the first part of the increase. So place your stitch marker and then you can work your increase. And so now you have 2 stitch markers and they're separated by 2 half double crochet, and they're going to be separated by only 2 stitches with every increase row. So now you can go ahead and just work 1 half double crochet in every remaining stitch across. Okay, and so for this row, you're just going to chain 1 and work 1 half double crochet stitch in every single stitch across. And when you reach the first stitch marker, I'll show you how to move it up with the non-increase rows. So when you reach that first stitch marker, just remove it off of the stitch and then bring it up to the current loop that's on your hook. That way you'll know for the next row where to work your increase. So just move it up, work your half double crochet, and then work the 2 half double crochets in between as usual. And then when you reach that second stitch marker, again, you can remove it from the current stitch and move it up to the current loop on your hook. And then work 1 half double crochet stitch in every remaining stitch for this row. And then for the following row, it will be an increase row. So you will chain 1, work 1 stitch all the way back down. And then when you reach that first stitch marker, you'll be working your increase, and there'll be 2 half double crochets in between, and then you'll be working your second increase. And throughout the rest of this section, it will be an increase row and then a normal row, an increase row and a normal row with no increases, an increase row, a normal row with no increases. So we're just repeating. Every other row is an increase row. You'll be adding 2 half double crochets with every increase row that you do, and you'll be just repeating this until you have a total of 19 rows. Row 19 will be your last increase row, and I'm not going to show you guys how to do every single one of these rows because it's the exact same thing and you're just continuing what we've been doing. Make sure you're following along with the pattern, and then I will meet you guys back here to show you how to do the rest of the hood. So again, every other row is an increase row, and you're increasing by 2 half double crochet stitches on those rows, and then the following row will be a normal row, so no increasing, and then the one after that is an increase row, and we're just alternating like that until we have the total amount of rows in the pattern. Okay, and once you have completed row 19, that is your last increase row, and it is 46 half double crochet, increase, 2 half double crochet, increase, 46 half double crochet for a total of 98 half double crochet. So at the end of your last increase row, you should have a total of 98 stitches. And so you'll know if you have that, then you have the correct amount and you have done the correct amount of rows. And then after that is just normal rows, no more increasing from here on out. For rows 20 through 46, you will just be repeating row 2, which is just chain 1 half double crochet in each stitch across, and then turn your work. And you're just going to be doing that for the rest of the hood. So again, it's rows 20 through 46, and you're just working 1 stitch in every stitch. You don't have to worry about increasing anymore, and you can go ahead and remove your stitch markers as well. If for some reason you want a wider hood, you can keep doing those increases, but this is where I stopped for my hood. So just continue on, and then I will meet you guys back here after we complete the total amount of rows for the hood, and I will be showing you guys how to seam the top together to finish up the hood. Okay, and at this point you should have your hood rows finished, and you should have a total of 46 rows. If you want a longer or bigger or baggier hood, you can also add more rows here before tying off. But this is where I'm stopping in the pattern, and now we'll be seaming the top. So you want to make sure when you're seaming it that you are working the seam on the inside of the hood. So you can turn your sweater all the way inside out if you want to make it easier, just so you know, or you can just flip the hood kind of like I did here and make sure you're working it inside out. So you want the right sides of the hood to be facing. And then you can just go ahead and insert your hook into the very last stitches on both sides. So you should be inserting it in stitch 98 and in stitch 1. And then we'll just be slip stitching the stitches together to join. So we're just slip stitching the final row, which was row 46. We're just going to slip stitch together. So just make sure that your stitches are lined up. Stitch 98 in stitch 1. And then yarning over and pulling through both sides of the hood and through the loop on your hook. And then we're just going to do that all the way across. So you can put your hook in stitch 97 and in stitch 2. And then just yarn over and pull it through both panels. You could also work it through the outer loops only like I'm showing you here. It just gives a different seamed look to it. But I'm going to go ahead and put it through both the front and back loops. And then again in the third stitches, and then we're just slip stitching all the way across. So make sure you're not doing it too tightly. It's the same thing that we did at the shoulders and the same thing that we did down the sides of the top. So just loosely slip stitch across and do this all the way to the very end of the row. And then when you get to the end, you can just go ahead and yarn over and tie off your work. And then in the next video, I will be showing you guys how to do the trim and the cord and finishing up our hoodie. So after you finish this part, I will meet you in part 4.